All right, it's your first meeting as a new group leader, and it can kind of create a sense of anxiety and worry, right? You've done all the training, you've identified your core team, you may even have established who you want to reach out to, right? Whether it's singles, couples, young families, empty nesters, and etc. Now the question that kind of lingers in the back of your mind, and we all get here, is that this question right here: will they show up? Right? We ask that question. It's like, will they show up? All this work we've done, will they show up? And let me say, this is a normal question to ask ourselves as launching a new group, because there's a level of faith. There's a level of taking a step of faith and really seeing God move and allow Him to begin to demonstrate His power and faithfulness through your faith step by launching this new group. So I want to give you 4 key steps for having a successful first meeting. So here's the first one. The first one is to pray. Someone once told me that prayer is the engine for ministry, right? We often view prayer as kind of this last-ditch effort and, to get God to do something after we've given it our shot. But prayer really is our first line of defense, right? That God's desire for us as our Father is to start with prayer, to communicate our heart's desire with Him and to align with Him and to ask Him for His help. He desires that. And I know, man, it can be difficult to acknowledge that we need help. We've prepared for this, we trained for this, but it's necessary. It's necessary for us to lead a healthy group by starting with prayer. And hey, here's the deal. You're dealing with people whom you can't change, but only God can change through the power of His Spirit. So ask God to maybe do these few things as you prepare. Ask Him to reveal people to invite to your group. Ask Him to prompt those whom you've invited to come to your group, to cross that line, to come off the fence and to show up. Pray that He would knit together the hearts of those who do come and to prepare your heart and the hearts of those who will be at the meeting for the first time. Now, feel free to take maybe these prayer prompts or the examples I've given you. You can maybe even create your own. The point is that you can minister to your group before your members even show up for the first meeting by bringing them to the Father in prayer. How awesome is that? That by doing this aligns your heart with what the Father's trying to do, and it allows you to work in tandem with what He's doing in the lives of those who will come to your group, and it gives you peace for when you begin to step forward towards that first meeting. Now, here's another step I want you to think about. So we're praying, but then we begin to transition into reaching out. So as you're spending time praying for your group, God may bring people to mind or even cross your path as you're in the hall at the church or you're at the grocery store or you're at the ballpark. Make it a point to reach out to them, right? Invite them to come join you for your first group meeting. Make sure to communicate with them as frequently as possible. Tell them about the date and the time and the location and what to expect at the first meeting. Don't assume that people will just know this stuff or that they're going to remember it. So communicate as often as you can about when your group's going to meet for the first time. And it's a good idea to reach out to your core team members, remind them of when your first meeting is, because honestly, it's the core team that forgets. Let's just throw it out there, okay? But don't assume that people know or will remember. Make an intentional effort to communicate as often as you can. So you're praying, you're reaching out. The third step here is to expect greatness. Now, I'm not trying to be all prosperity gospel on you, but it is true. We need to expect greatness. As often as leaders, we are robbed of the opportunity of truly enjoying the moment of our first meeting with the people in our group. Why? Because there's these thoughts of doubt and disappointment and shame and guilt, right, that can kind of cloud a leader's mind as they feel the weight and the responsibility to pull off a great meeting. And to be honest, man, I've struggled with this myself, but I've learned how to pivot my thinking to think about greatness, to expect great things, to have faith that God's going to work even if the turnout is less than expected. And expecting greatness is not a false sense of hope, but a trusted confidence that God's going to do what He's going to do and that He's going to bring the right people to the first meeting, and all the people that are going to be there are going to be there. And it shifts your focus from a scarcity mindset to one of great abundance. So instead of fixating on who is not there, you focus on who is there and invest your entire self into those people. So don't fall for the trap. Think about what great things are going to happen in that group meeting. Get excited, create anticipation. But here's the last thing, is that you need to plan. Now, there are 2 types of people when it comes to preparing for the first meeting, and I like to call this the systematic and the unsystematic. The systematic person, right, they come to the first meeting And man, it's well thought through. You know, they got a plan for everything, how it'll operate every minute on the hour. It's like a workout, you know. Doors open at 9, and announcements are at 9:15, and prayers at 9:20. You start the lesson at 9:30, no later than that, because the teacher's been preparing. And then closing remarks at 9:45, and then you're going to leave at 9:55 on the dot, because the next group's got to come in. And then the unsystematic person sees a start time and an end time, but leaves the rest up to, you get it, how the Spirit leads. But the question is, which one are you? Be honest with yourself. Which one are you? Because neither are bad, but I would suggest adopting a style that really is between these two. One that is somewhat structured with great intentionality, but leaving room for the Spirit. And a helpful tip to kind of think about and to consider is to be more relationally focused during your first meeting. Give lots of time to socialize and maybe even do some icebreaker games. Man, have fun, laugh, have a good time, get to know everyone. It doesn't have to be so serious. And man, here are some things to think about as you prepare for your first meeting. Who will help guests at the door? Who will help hand out name tags and take attendance? Who will open the group for announcements? Who will lead the icebreaker? What is the icebreaker? Will there be food? Will there be drinks? Is it donuts? Is it tacos? Is it casserole? I mean, who knows? Who will be providing the food and drinks? Are we just assuming people are going to show up? So these are just a few things to think about as you prepare for your first meeting and just to kind of get your mind moving in the right direction. So to go back over this real quick, the way that you successfully prepare for your first meeting is by praying for your group, reaching out to those you invite, expecting God to do something great, and plan how the meeting will go. And it's these 4 steps that will ensure you have a successful kickoff to your new group. Man, I'm so excited. And man, I know that this first meeting is going to be so good for you.